Yo, what's up? Welcome back. So, the Grimmspeed Front Mount Intercooler. Is it worth it? Yes, it's worth it. Your J-pipe in your turbo produces a lot of heat. Heat rises, and then all that heat gets trapped under the hood. With a top mount intercooler, it just heat soaks. All that heat just saturates that intercooler and creates higher IATs, which are intake air temperatures. The front mount intercooler, you don't got to worry about that because it's in the front of the car. So I did do some tests. Now these tests aren't going to be extremely accurate because my IAT sensor isn't relocated to the cold side of my intercooler piping. It's still in the stock location, which is at the airbox, which is pre-intercooler. But I was with the access port able to record intake manifold temperatures, and that's the test that I did. So I did moderate driving for about 15 minutes. I then, right after the drive, parked the car and let it sit at idle for 10 minutes and I recorded temperatures. So I've been driving for about 15 minutes. Some oil temps. I've been parked there maybe for about a minute, so. Focus. Ambient temperatures are 39 degrees outside. So I am going to let the car sit for 10 minutes and then I'm gonna come back and check these temps. Now I did accidentally delete the video after the car was idle for 10 minutes. But I can assure you the temperatures were at 149 degrees, ambient temperatures were at 40 degrees. I then did the same exact test after installing the front mount intercooler. Alright, so ambient temperature outside is 60 degrees. Car's fully warm, 205 oil. I've been driving for about 15 minutes, same as the last test. I've literally been sitting with the car idle for 15 minutes, going on 16 minutes. My intake manifold temperature is 136. The temperature with the top mount after 10 minutes was 149. And you got to consider that when I did this test with the top mount intercooler, it was I think 40 degrees outside. So it's 20 degrees hotter and I'm still 14 degrees less, and I've been sitting longer, or sitting at idle longer with the front mount intercooler. So intake temperatures are down, of course, as you can tell. So yeah. But yes, it is most definitely worth it. It's gonna keep your car cool, man. Especially when you start modding your car, more power, the faster you want it, the hotter it's gonna get. And another good reason to get it from my intercooler is because it just fucking looks cool, man. Yo, front mount intercoolers look so dope. I just believe front mount intercoolers are a lot better. They're gonna supply more efficient cooling, especially in conditions where you're not getting airflow through that intercooler. Traffic, sitting at idle, things like that. You're gonna want that front mount intercooler. I personally love Grimmspeed products. I just think they're the best company out there for our Subaru WRXs and STIs. Personal opinion, but I just love Grimmspeed, so that's why I go with a lot of Grimmspeed. But ETS also makes a pretty good front mount intercooler. So cons though, there are cons. For every pros comes cons. It's just how it works. So there's two things that I noticed after installing my front mount intercooler. One thing is the sound of the horn. The horn is located right behind that intercooler. So when you honk the horn, it sounds like a tin can. It doesn't sound good. Now to me, that doesn't bother me at all because I rarely honk my horn anyways. But I do lock my car all the time and you can still hear it. It's like a ting. I'll do a video clip of it and show you guys. This is what it sounds like. But that doesn't bother me at all. But it might bother some of you. I'm just reaching in the bag for negatives. So that's one. The biggest thing though that I noticed is my oil temperatures raised about 15 to 17 degrees. I wonder why my oil temperatures raised after installing front mount intercooler. So obviously I thought, okay, well, you put this thick ass intercooler in front of your radiator, and now your radiator is not getting that airflow it used to get because the intercooler is taking a lot of that air. Your radiator cools the coolant cools your car, oils get cooler. So I thought, okay, well, maybe that was the issue. But then after monitoring my coolant temps, they stayed the exact same. My coolant temps average about 190 to 200 degrees. Before the front mount intercooler and after the front mount intercooler, my coolant temperatures stayed the exact same, but my oil temperatures raised 15 to 17 degrees, and I don't know, I couldn't grasp why. Now, oils at 220 degrees is fine. You have nothing to worry about. Once you hit that 250, 260 mark, that's when you got problems. Me personally, anything under 240 degrees, you're perfectly fine. So 220 is fine. So I'm not bitching about that. And I did figure it out, well, at least partially. And I know there's 3 ways that you can cool your oil. I'll start with the most expensive first. They designed a hood specifically for front mount intercoolers. So we have Marsh Composites. It's the Subaru VA chassis. This is the hood that I was talking about. See, it's designed to like suck air in from the intercooler and then come up through the hood and roll off the top of the car. It's about $1,500 plus shipping. Option number 2 is to get an oil cooler. Now, an oil cooler, in my opinion, is probably the most efficient and the best way to go. So here's the parent oil cooler. It's about $738. I think this is probably the most efficient way to keep your oil cool. So what I did is I actually ordered the Various Engineering Hood Scoop Block Off Kit. This is what I got. This dropped my temperatures about 5 degrees. This is what it looks like when it's installed in your car. And this is only $70. And that actually decreased my oil temperatures 5 degrees. So now my oil temperature is around 210 degrees, and they raised about 215, 217 when I'm really on the car. After I installed it from my intercooler, I still had my hood scoop, obviously, with nothing there. So a lot of that air was getting sucked in that hood scoop and pressurizing my engine bay. So now when I have air trying to flow through my intercooler and radiator, it's hitting that pressurized engine bay and it's not flowing as good as it should flow. But other than that, man, front mount intercoolers are the way to go. It is most definitely worth it, especially when you're trying to mod your car for power. You know, the faster you go, the more power you produce, the hotter your car is going to get. You need efficient cooling. Our cars like to be nice and cool. You need efficient cooling. A front mount intercooler is the way to go. So yes, I do recommend a front mount intercooler. I do recommend Grimmspeed's front mount intercooler. They make really good product. The fitment was perfect on everything. Front mount intercooler, is it worth it? Yes. Did I feel more power? Yes. They're worth it. Get them.